Hey YouTube, this is going to be part two of the last video, but it's not going to be what I said it was going to be. I'm doing a different part two because the other part two I think would have been too difficult, for people to get. Because I've noticed that some people just don't get some of the stuff that I'm showing, so. I was going to leave that one for later then because it is kind of complicated. It is amazing, but it's also hard to grasp. Maybe I'll figure out a better way of showing it by the time I put it out. So anyways, so I'm going to talk about this line right here that it was in Dutch Cinch's video not too long ago because there was an earthquake here, and he says there's an unnamed volcano right here, and and this actually plays right into my theory about reoccurring patterns. So I figure why not show you guys what my theory is proving, and what proves it. This is a I'm telling you that this is a reoccurring pattern, and reoccurring patterns can be found all over the planet because they have to do with the creation of the planet. It only makes sense. And let me show you where this first reoccurring pattern lines up with. Okay, what I'm going to show you that it lines up with is it's going to be with the Yellowstone Park. And not only is it going to line up with Yellowstone Park, but I'm going to show you how that fault or whatever that's over there in the north by the North Pole is actually responsible for help create this planet. It's part of the process. Therefore, you could see that that other things will be involved with it. So, take a look. But before we take a look, I want to show you guys something really quick, because I get a lot of people that say that Google Earth isn't accurate, and therefore my evidence is not valid and all that. And I just wanted to show you something about how accurate Google Earth is. This way so when you hear a troll say that, you can just ignore him. Because let's take a look. As we zoom in, you don't see anything going out of place, right? You see nothing, everything's still the same. It's just getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And closer. And look at this. I mean, for God's sakes, here's the dude standing out in his yard. Like, how much more accurate can you get, actually, to be honest with you? You can't. It's ridiculous. This is why this is why I laugh at those people, because when they say this stuff, they say it with conviction, but I already know that they're full of bullshit, because I know better than that, I mean, look at this accuracy, dude. I could see that this guy has to clean his yard up, for God's sakes, from space. Okay? I mean, that's insane. I could tell you what color your car is from space. Okay? That's accuracy. So for them to even suggest that I can't use Google Earth as scientific evidence and aligning things up, you need to go back and learn what science is, because I can. And it is 100 years ago. This would have been the greatest. They would have dreamed of having something like this. It would be like a godsend. And then nowadays, now it's not good enough for everybody. For some people, whatever. Get over yourself, troll. and then they come in and tell me about science, but that's another story. So, all right, let's get back to it. I just had to point this out so that that you guys can be reassured that it's very accurate. Nothing's changed. Everything's right where it should be. All those mountains are still there. Everything that I need to know is right here. Okay, here's that area again, that volcano. Um, this split right here, and I'm going to show you something, kind of interesting about these islands here. These islands here, by the way, they're censored, and they are censored. By the way, you can't look in them. You're not allowed to. So I'll show you. Hold on. Now this is what they've done to on Mars. By the way, they put these mosaics up. That's how you know that's censored, because there's no reason for it. And that's just this. It's to, I don't know if it's to throw you off, or I know one thing, it keeps me from matching things up. That's for sure. So if that was what this was intended for, then they were successful, because it is very difficult for me to match up anything when you got that like that. But then this one's ridiculous. I mean, come on. This is like the old Atari game, that kind of graphics. Give me a break. This is this is Russia. It's funny how, a Google Earth, an American company, would be so worried about about us seeing what's over in Russia. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's like the New World Order. Anyway, so that's that. I just wanted to show you the strangeness of this censorship. I know some people are going to say, well, it's because they detonated nuclear bombs on whatever. This was censored before that ever happened, and not only that, who cares if we see what blast craters look like over there. So anyways, okay, so here we've got that fault, and this is the west coast. I'll use a colored version, but it's easier for now to see the textures and stuff like that. Believe me, I already made a video that I had to trash because I noticed that when I rewatched it, that everything I was explaining, it was really hard to see because you can't see through the upper layer. So I'm trying to fix that. So here we go. Here's California and stuff. What I want to show is that you see how this hooks over here, goes like that. Well, as I bring this through, you'll see that if I get in the right place, Yellowstone already lines up with this area. Actually, a lot of areas on this planet line up with that, by the way. And then I bring it in a little bit more to match that curve. And what you have is an alignment, and it's pretty solid. I double checked this, triple checked it up close, because at first, it's like, well, I don't know, maybe, but it is. It's actually exactly. And you can see things are matching up like this. You see that there's obviously some kind of a volcano right here or something, and you can even see the lines in this. This is North America right here. But of course, everything's a reoccurring pattern, so this lines up first, and then you can see that things are lining up the rest of the way. But we might as well go ahead and see if this fits right here. And it does. If I was to, I don't even think I have to rotate it, actually, which is surprising. But I know there's some people that are going to think, well, that's no big deal. But it is, actually, because it's just one piece of the puzzle. It's just one, it's like one more piece that proves this, like, that I'm telling you that is true. And not only that, I notice right now, as this lines up, you can see other things kind of lining up here. Oh, there it goes. Moved itself. Um, and that's what I'm looking for. They don't all necessarily have to be lined up at the same, um, point together, because this thing is moving through, and you can almost see that there's a relationship here with this island. And it's not, for the people. Well, it almost has the same square that they put there, which would be impossible. But it's funny that it does kind of have like a squarish. But that's their pixelation. Uh, there's no way that they could be related, but it does look like it at first. But you could see, like, this kind of seems similar to that. And then when that's lined up there, then you got this right here. What I'd be really looking for is volcanoes and stuff like that, because those are obviously going to match through if these layers were sitting on top of one another. You know what I'm saying? That you have a volcano that, well, or electrical discharge that punched through. It's going to punch through all the layers, and that's how you're going to line these back up. Okay, so anyways, let me put this back to where it should be. And you can actually see that these are made from movement, right? You can see that. See how, like, if I move it and rotate it, you can see how it would make this texture. And then there's the right here is the Grand Canyon, and you can just see some, I don't know, some things that line up, like this right here fits into that cup thing a little bit. Obviously, this is a different layer, and there's probably another layer somewhere between these two that actually has more characteristics of the complete Grand Canyon. See, right now you're just seeing parts of it, but I bet there's other areas on this planet that actually show more of a. I'm sure this I would guarantee that under close scrutiny that this texture would probably, like, fit around the Grand Canyon, you know, but there'd be other ones that actually fit perfect. You can see how the contours actually kind of go around these ones right here. But wait a second, actually, look at that. Wait, I didn't even notice that. I don't know if you guys can see that. But this actually does kind of line up with the actual canyon itself. Because this is the Grand Canyon right here. Barely, it's faint. But if you look at this underneath, you can see that it does run along it. Wow, I didn't even notice that before. And then you can see, well, and then it goes up here. Let me get rid of it and see what we see without it. Except for, okay, the Grand Canyon is running this way, but if I move it down and line it up with this and turn it, it's gonna, yeah, look at that. That's well, this is the areas in the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon kind of just goes around like that, and this is like the burn mark of it. It's the discoloration. So look, you can see that it does line up. And it, whatever made the Grand Canyon, you can see kind of swept up this way. Well, that's actually this whole thing. This, I guess, I didn't even think of that. This is a gnarly gouge, and it has to be from electrical. I'm telling you, it is. That's interesting, actually. You can even see, like, I don't know. Okay, well, I better move on because this. Well, hold on though. Look at, okay, this is the Grand Canyon 2, I guess, the beginning of it. And you can kind of see it does fit in there. But I'll bet you there's another layer somewhere that has even more details that would match up. So anyways, let's move on. Let's look forward here. Um, see, I've got to look myself. See, I line this up here, and then things fall into place here. Oh yeah, what's trippy is, okay, I line that up there, and then I come up here and look at these marks. You can see how they line up. See, that's the thing is sometimes you don't have to look for the exact image. You just have to look for markers that line up. You know, sometimes even just discoloration or even plant growth is all you need to line some of these things up because they're responsible for creating the depression that accumulates the water that makes the the plants grow green in that area. I can make matchups like that, all kinds of different things. But you can tell that this is moving through, and then if you look over here, there's rotation. This is rotating, and that's the other thing. Okay, so if I line that up, okay, after lining that up, I want to show you though that these line up too. Um, with well, basically like this. You see this triangular, and this that lines up in here like that. And this is Yellowstone Park right here, but these are also reoccurring patterns of Yellowstone Park because it's sweeping through here. This is almost similar to like what they claim as hot spots, like for the Hawaiian Islands. Well, I guess you could consider that similar to this, but not really like what they're saying. So, anyways, I moved this here. You can even start to see that there's these markers here line up too. But what's really cool is that this area right here in Canada um, lines up with here. Now I cut. See, I need a. I should have a bigger area, but I cut off here. But I know that this kind of it follows that shape, so I don't feel like redoing this for that. But you can see that you just got to pay attention to these markings too, because other things will line up. Okay, as I'm sorry, you know what? As this lines up too, right here. You know what? That's odd. Okay, I recognize this actually. This this is got to be fitting in here. I just have to rotate it a hair. But you know what? Yeah, I might as well. Okay, never mind. I think it's fine without it. Because the point is you can't see through that very good. Okay, check this out. And we bring this other through because this is a recurring pattern of this. I know that. And you can see how it lines up the way with the turns and everything. I think this is related to that spill out too, by the way. Actually, I know it is. But you can see that it lines up. Yep, it lines up. There's no doubt about it. As I can tell you, that's a good match, actually. And then, now here's the thing. I know that I know from my research or whatever that this is actually Florida too. This is a reoccurring pattern of Florida. So if this is a recurring pattern of Florida, well then this must also be a recurring pattern of Florida. So with that in mind, let's bring Florida over here and see what we got going on. Sure enough, you can see how those line up. I know that it's gonna be. Just look how silly though these trolls are when they comment about this stuff. Now, how could you see that I'm showing you that they line up? You can see that with your eyes, right? You can see that this pattern is very similar to this. And this is a prediction right here. I said if this lines up with that, then this lines up with that. So it predicts ahead of time that Florida would line up here. And when I line it up, it surely does line up here, actually. And but here's the thing. Also with Florida, you got this sandbar or whatever that's whipping around. Well, I can tell you that's from rotation. That's what causes that, not ocean currents or whatever. So let's bring this over here. Yeah, sure enough. What do you know? See, this is how my theory works. These reoccurring patterns support everything, and they support it no matter how I do it. That's the beauty of. That's how I know that this theory is 100% accurate, because it always supports itself. When I make predictions, everything, it just does. And you can see that this is turning this way or whatever. So let's back out, take a bigger picture here. So let's take a look here, what we can do. Okay, so, but alright, first thing is first. You can see that this is curved right here. So, and you can see this is curved right here. Here, let's make sure I get a faraway shot first. Ooh, I can tell you already, you know what? This is weird. I can predict that I can line up Australia here. And I haven't even done that yet, but I can tell by the way this looks like it's torn apart, because it reminds me of a area of Australia that looks very similar to that. But anyways, so that'll be for another video, I guess. So we put that in here, and as I put that in here, you can see that there's markings on our continent that line up over here. You see that? Even though this goes past it, it's still got the marks on it from here. So we got that. There might be other alignments that I'm not catching yet going on. That's why these videos are going to take a while. I hate making them long and all that. You can see this also lines up in here too. So this is actual scientific proof that these areas are related. No doubt about it. I couldn't have done it without Google Earth, by the way. So there's no way that Google Earth can prove that that my theories are inaccurate because of using it. So anyways, so we got that, okay. But then if we move up out of here. Oh, you know what I was gonna do? There, I wanted to remove this area so we didn't have to, look at it anymore. So anyways, you can see there other lineups there and here. But then we move it up another notch, because you see that a lot when I show you these these duplicates like this, so the reoccurring patterns. They're like right next to each other, and there'll be like two of them. Seems to be like a pattern or something of it. So anyways, this goes here. Okay, now, okay, really quickly, I want to show you, just in case you're not convinced yet, the reverse of those maps. Instead of taking North America over there, I brought that area over here to North America, so that you can see that it does line up. Because if you look at this right here, you'll see that there's something similar going on here, and actually here too, because these are all reoccurring patterns, of course. Like right here. then like right up in here, if I fit that in there, take a look here. Here's Yellowstone, right? Here's this following the same as the design below it. You can even see that this area right here is related to this area right here, right? You can see that. You can see that there's some kind of a spill out or something happening here. But you could see that. You think you see how close I can get and line these up? There's no way plate tectonics can even do something like this. This is the difference between my theory and plate tectonics. I can do this. They can't. And there's a reason. It's because I'm right and they're wrong. And I'm just being honest. I don't want to sound like I'm being arrogant, but for those trolls, you know, I'm telling you I'm right, and you trolls are wrong. And you know, my subscribers that support me, they're on the right side here. You know, and that makes me feel good. That at least that, you know, I'm not going to let you guys down. This is the way it really is. It's solid. It's so solid. Look at that. There's no way these would line up unless I was right. Not only does it line up there, it lines up over here, for God's sakes. Look. Look how it lines up there. I'm right, you know? Fucking A. It's like, you have no idea how look, you know what this is? This looks like a spill out, and this is more of the beginning of it right here. It's been a long road, I'm telling you, because I know that I'm right. My evidence supports that I'm right in every way. And this is lining up too, right here, as I line that up. I mean, how could, you know, and then, you know what's going to happen? There's still going to be people that thumbs down this video. You know why? No, me neither. Either because it was too long, or it was whatever, I talked too much, whatever. Well, that's, who cares? I'm trying to show you something that our science doesn't tell us, and well, it doesn't know. But I'm showing you absolute proof of that I'm telling you the truth. Look how that fits right into there. See that? Am I right or am I right? Fuck. It's like some people don't want you to be right, even though you are. And those mesas, you know, are probably pieces of this island, by the way. For God's sakes. Man, I don't know what it takes to get people to acknowledge that you're right. But that's solid. I mean, that's as solid as it gets. See how this lines up here? These, and then when that lines up with that. This lines up with that. See that? Can you see that these areas had to be lying on top of one another? And look at Yellowstone Park, for God's sakes. This is this caldera, whatever. But look how when I push that right there, it actually gives the texture. And I'll tell you one thing, under close scrutiny, this is going to reveal more about Yellowstone Park. I mean, this is a huge deal, and it sucks being told what I'm told by people, you know, when I'm right, you know. It gets old after a while. Look at these lines right here. So in the comments below, tell me if I'm right, and then, or tell me if I'm wrong, and then tell me why you think I'm wrong, why you think that these perfect alignments right here aren't what I say they are, or why they don't prove that my theory right, or anything. I would love to hear the logic behind it, man. Don't just sit, you know, call me a name and run away. That's like a bitch thing to do, okay? I want you to stand face to face here and tell me why I'm wrong. Okay? If you're going to thumbs it down, do that. Okay? Be a man and tell me face to face in a conversation why you think this is not right. All right, so and it gets frustrating after a while. When you know you're right about something, and then you got like a lot of people that are claiming you're not. Just so. Anyways, I know people don't like to hear me talk about this, but I got to get off my chest. A lot of frustration of a lifetime of being told you're wrong when you know you've been right. There is, it just gets old. That's why I wonder about this planet and the people on it. Anyways, okay, so there's more coming here. And then watch this. As I bring this more through and line it up correctly. Hold on, how did I just do it? It's funny how nervous I get when I'm talking into a mic versus when I'm doing something just on my own time. Because now I can't fucking see how I had it before. All right, I think I got it. It's you see this right here, and then, well, everything actually, but this and this. Okay, so then you look at it from back here. You can see how that fits in there. This island right here actually fits into here pretty damn good, actually. And so does this island. See these islands with the ripples? You see how they line up here? Come on. Jesus Christ. I'm right. For God's sakes, I wish somebody would admit it. My God, it's like I'm like in the Twilight Zone movie or something, like where you're right, but all your life they just keep saying you're wrong. It's like fuck me. Anyways, you can see that. That's an amazing thing, and that is worth your time, right? Wouldn't you think to see that? That is worth your time watching this video because that nobody knows about. Nobody, I guarantee you, there's not a person on this planet that knows that this area lines up with that, like it does here, perfectly. See, when I line that up, this lines up. Now, I like to, take some closer shots, though, is what I'm going to be doing next. Is some really up close shots and look for things that are not fitting in, things that are missing from one land to the other. And I guarantee you, on a really close scrutiny, you're going to find something. You might find the other pieces of these. See, and as I move this area through, this is here, I believe, somewhere. Oh yeah, what do you know? Maybe there could be an alignment here, I guess, with this. But I think, let's see here. Just not ready to. Oh yeah, okay. You see that, right? And then you can see that this like covers up that, and this circle right here goes right around it, like it. You see that? And when that goes there, you can see these tracks, whatever, come through. Man, I gotta see. This sucks because I have to cut this video short. And then, well, lo and behold, See, this can reveal information about areas that we didn't know before. That's the beauty of this. This will give us insight. Might actually see what happened, what caused the features of the land underneath. You see what I'm saying? How important that would be? But in order for that to happen, people have to know that I'm right. I mean, as long as they just keep on thinking that I'm wrong, there's no way that nobody would ever know this. And then look at the textures here as I bring this out through. It makes me mad. It really makes me mad. How people are, really. You can be right. It doesn't matter. If they don't want to believe you, you're not right. It's the story of my whole life. So, anyways, here you guys go. I hope you guys. There's more. I'm sure I could spend another 2 hours on this easily and find hundreds of other alignments, which I'll probably do after this video. Thanks for watching.